Hi everyone, welcome to Gravitas AI panel discussion on AI enhanced learning, personalizing education, and driving student success. To discuss the topic, we have with us Dr. Mohammed Ahmed, a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in corporate relations and strategic partnership, currently serving as a Deputy Director of Corporate Relations at the Oriental Group of Institutions, Bhopal. Dr. Ahmed has been instrumental in bridging academia and industry, facilitating internships and corporate connects opportunities for students. Accompanying him, we have with us Mr. Aarsh Srivastava, business and AI strategist and co-founder of Gravitas AI. Welcome to the session, both of you.
Thank you, Aarsh. Thank you, Vishali, and thank you, Gravitas AI, for having me here. And I look forward to a lovely interaction.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, to join this call, and I'm very happy to have be a co-panelist with you and discuss about the topic
Pleasure.
in hand. And hopefully, we'll be able to contribute in sync with what you are thinking. So, yep, Akshita, we can go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
As we move towards AI driven classrooms, what are some early successes you have seen in personalizing education through technology?
See, AI has been a big game changer, and I truly believe that the best is yet to come. The best we have seen recently, and the biggest revelation I feel, especially in the case of education and students, is Chat GPT. And I've been kind of seeing the excessive usage of Chat GPT day in day out when it comes to students. So it's not like that AI or AI based systems were not there before Chat GPT as such, but the advent of Chat GPT has kind of brought AI to the household. It has become a
Yeah.
household name, and now and more or less it has kind of opened a sort of Pandora's box. So AI is now a pretty household name and almost used in every aspect, and likewise it is being used in education as well. So when it comes to our usage of AI, me being in higher education, we have been kind of using them in lots of so-called adaptive learning platforms because from a tech background, we require lots of coding assess. We need to give a lot of coding assessments and stuff like that. So that kind of since the students are of different skill sets, so we need scenarios where the system is able to kind of give customized exercises based on the skill set of the students, his learning speeds, his learning rates. So those adaptive learning platforms, initially the scenarios were like that, they were pretty static, pretty rote. So now we are kind of able to offer them some adaptive learning platforms. Other than that, AI powered assessments as well. We have been using some systems and some softwares which are kind of able to, like Grade Scope, we are using for AI powered assessments. So these are the softwares we are using for AI powered assessments. So that kind of gives us a better data analysis of what the student is, where he is kind of lagging, and all those things. uh, one good usage also I've there seen. Well, it's not for higher education as that such, but for school education. I've seen my kid using one app, and I feel that's a wonderful app, and it makes great use of AI. And I think it's named Duolingo. That's a wonderful app. It's a great app. So she's just in seventh class, but I think she knows more than six languages, and that's a big thing, considering our age when we were kind of struggling with only two three languages in Hindi and Sanskrit. But she has learned more than six languages, and some of them very difficult ones, to be frank. Korean she knows. She's kind of watching the cartoon after learning that language. So that makes a great use of AI. I've seen that, and it's pretty easy to use as well. She's kind of it is giving her customized topics and words and prompting her to kind of learn. So that's a wonderful thing. Some other usages for higher education, because I have been into research area as well. So we have been using very sophisticated plagiarism tools as well. So I've seen a lot of usage of AI recently in in plagiarism tools. Turnitin is, we have an institutional access of Turnitin, and it's using a lot of AI as well. So lots of things which are being used, and education is making the most usage of AI.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And like the kind of experience the current students have, we definitely didn't have that because we didn't have those tools. We were like working through
Yeah,
books, etc.
absolutely.
It's a very different era, and that is how the way of communication and
even
how.
even in even in my corporate relations part, we have been using lots of courses. We are kind of, we need to have, I mean, the
Mm,
scenario is like that the students need to be extremely skilled right now, so we're offering lots of course platforms as well. So we have an institutional access of Coursera and LinkedIn Learning as well. So
yeah,
that also is kind of using a lot of AI when it comes to suggesting courses. Initially, it was all dependent on the student as to what he has to do, and or maybe the faculty had to guide the student as to what should be his learning curve. But
mm,
now platform is kind of guiding as to, now you have done this, and now you should be doing this, and that is very good.
yep, definitely. And like as I said, like the way of communicating and how things are being perceived has totally changed, and that's why we require more technology infusion into the classrooms to make it more experiential for the students to start utilizing it in the best way. And
True.
very good examples given here regarding the language tools and other things, which are pretty
Exactly.
interesting because then at a very early age we're getting all those exposure, and then you start learning and thinking more about, because it's more about like earlier it was more of a hard work to get those resources and then work on it, so your
Yes.
progress was focused on certain directions. But now we have access to, with AI we have access to all the resources in the world, and it's a spin of a hand. Like if you put something as a good prompt, you will get definitely very good resources to work on it. So yeah, it also like uh, pushes more creativity, because then you
Absolutely.
don't have to do the hard work rather than you have to do the smart work. Think creative, you get the time to think. Thinking time is very much required at each and every stage in life. Like we also, like while we're working, we got a lot of stuff to do and handle things. How about like having more time to reflect and react and then progress further? So that's how I see AI working in these classrooms, and probably like giving more real experience to the students so that they can start working on thinking more.
This generation is a very privileged generation, I feel.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Especially if you compare to ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, moving ahead from an administrative viewpoint, what are the main challenges in integrating AI into existing educational systems, and how can institutions address these issues?
I
Well,
think
challenges
yeah.
will always be there because whenever a new technology comes, the existing skill set may or may not be completely ready for that, and AI is an extremely game-changing scenario. So the setups, I still feel, are pretty nascent when it comes to uh, accommodating the real usage of AI. And it is, as I said before, that the best is yet to come. So the challenges are there. The primary ones being the some of the typical ones, in the sense that the cost element is there. It does require some investment on the part of institutions. Say, for example, higher education institutions though are already kind of doing that, because they know that there's no survival without investing in these things. But when it comes to school education, yes, they are kind of trying to get into the pick of things, maybe updating their cloud storage and data storage things, and high speed internet are kind of available nowadays. But still, some sort of infra requirements are definitely there. One more thing which I feel is uh, is again pretty typical, in the sense that the resistance of the faculty. I've seen that a lot, even in higher education. The faculty is not willing to move on from their chalk and talk approach, and move on to AI enabled tools.
Yeah.
AICT, in fact, is taking a lot of steps to kind of improvise on that, and kind of making mandatory for faculties and higher education professors to make significant use of AI in their teaching pedagogies. But still, I feel there's a lot of resistance, because they feel they're more comfortable. They say that the children are more comfortable, which is not the case. AI is able to make the classes so much more engaging if you're kind of involving students into real time assignments, real time quizzes. That's a lot you can do when with AI, but still there's a lot of resistance when it comes to usage. I mean, prevalent usage of AI in classrooms still as of now. Maybe some of that those concerns are because they feel that some data privacy issues might crop up, which is again a myth. But yes, this is something which we have been facing when it comes to education. Some of the bottlenecks and challenges that we have been facing. Having said that, I also feel that since AI is at a pretty nascent stage as of now, so there has to be uh, a balance between usage of AI and human intervention and human oversight. So these things can also be, I mean, always be taken care of, but that should not prevent anybody from making use of the tools which are so wonderfully available. I was just using one of the tools. I'll just give an example of that to again to my young kid. So what I was doing now, I was busy in some work, and she was asking me to make a assignment of a certain uh, subject. So I was extremely stuck. So I had to, what I said, I go to chat. She makes use of very good use of chat GPT. She went to chat GPT and she started typing in the questions. So it did start asking questions, but it started asking questions, the generic questions, which may not be from the chapter which she was studying. So they were generic questions of the subject. So she said, "Okay, no, this is not in my syllabus." So what I did, I just went to one of the sites. I don't remember the name. I just googled it because I knew that that site existed. Just googled it. It kind of uploads a particular PDF. You just click the snapshots of that particular chapter. Uploaded the PDF. So it was kind of you should call customized ChatGPT. So it was asking specific questions specifically from those chapter only. So completely it eliminated my role as a teacher, and she was all on her own and making use of chat gpt. So I mean, chat that has to be promoted. The usage has to be promoted. Again, human oversight has to be there, but it should be promoted. That's what I feel.
Totally agree on that. I think also think on the same lines that the most important aspect to be dealt with is the stakeholder acceptance, and for that we have to like show the benefits to different stakeholders,
Exactly.
and so that they can understand okay how the value is there and how it will not threaten any of their positions rather than like it will be augmenting their own ways of working and how they will get more supported and they can start focusing on the more valuable things rather than doing the BAU work. So that's where I see like the most important challenge. There's also one thing which I've come across while working with education institutes, and not only education institutes, this is prevalent everywhere, that traditionally there's a siloed up approach from different departments. So we have to like work with a thorough strategy and like how we can integrate, because there are obvious benefits which can be taken out from different departments work to other department as well. And with the computational power of AI, there's a lot of insights can be generated regarding that. And then you never know, like something which is going on in one department might be useful for the another one. So that is another area which I see, so that we can like not silo, we can remove the silos, bring it together, and
Mhm.
then also like integrate systems together well, so that there's an integrated 360 approach around technology usage, and so that it fits into the right kind of strategy and vision.
True. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So moving ahead with the next question, can you recount a story where AI played a pivotal role in driving student motivation and enthusiasm for learning?
Mm. One was though, which I recently mentioned,
Yes.
that the story of my kid, and other things. I've been kind of involved into lots of technical trainings as well in my higher education stint. So the general scenario is that I was developing that Fab Labs, the ACT idea Fab Labs, which I was talking about. So that Fab Labs is basically kind of consisting of things like you can. It's not a kind of domain specific lab. It's something. in which there are lots of heavy equipment. Say, for example, 3D printers we have, and lots of CNC routers we have. So there are the generic machines, so they are not kind of domain specific. And the training is for almost every domain. So when I used to get in the CS branch people, they kind of used to get they felt disassociated with that fab labs, because they said कि, nah, this is kind of dealing with mechanical, or maybe some other branch which is dealing in hardware. So there was a lot of challenge when it came to kind of getting them involved. So there I started uh, bringing them to on the same table by engaging them with lots of gaming design, because when it comes to 3D printing na, you need to make 3D models first.
Yeah.
So 3D modeling and 3D gaming is kind of pretty similar in that sense. So I started getting them involved into 3D gaming, and there I made a lot of use of tools like Spline, and there are lots of tools which are for 3D based animation design, so AI based designing. So lots of stuff which can you kind of put up different prompts, and then it ends up creating 3D models. So at least to get the students engaged, you can AI is something which is cross disciplinary. It can be used in any domain, anything. So that is the best part about it. So even to engage students from an entirely different domain and make the content engaging, and then to get them to learn what we want them to, so that's one good thing which I've seen. And I've been to kind of making a lot of usage, and I'm very active in that regard, that I'm constantly searching for tools and things which by the use of AI are making the student learning experience better. That is one thing.
Yeah, I'm not from the academics industry particularly, so I'll not have like much say into that. But because I don't have real life experiences with that sort of engagement. Having said that, working in technology space and trying to work towards that area, definitely there's some things which you can share. But on a lighter note, I think the first thing which students really liked is about like creating their assignments through ChatGPT. And it actually spread like a fire, that okay, everyone started using the assignments, and there's a whole lot of problems regarding plagiarism. Then the plagiarism tools came in, so I able
Mm.
to check whether it's coming from ChatGPT or not. So yeah, I think that has really been instrumental in terms of creating awareness, more awareness about AI. That particular incident, which I think in the student, at least in the student side, there's a lot which can be done to give it a positive spin. Because ultimately when we start thinking about using these tools for benefit of doing so, for example an assignment or something else, we have to start thinking, okay, this should be a part of the plan, that okay, ChatGPT or any other LLM models or any other tools which are generating content, generating videos, generating source for learning for students, these should be a part of the overall plan of the organizations or the academic institutions, so that the students also feel that this is something which is right and it's going in the right direction, and they are actually eligible to use those tools to work through these content sources, because ultimately what we're doing is they're providing them extra fodder. So typically,
Mm.
we expect them to go to libraries and read all the books, which is very good. It's very important to read through, but it's not possible you want to go and go through each and every book, and because of the limited time which they have to work through a lot of assignments and then the examinations as well. So these sources give a lot of insights which can be
Yeah,
extracted multiple sources, multiple books, and then they get the filtered content. So we are saving their time to explore, but giving them the time to think. And I'm coming back to again this, because this is something which is very important. AI is giving us the time to think, and we should be leveraging
exactly.
it.
I mean, but this should be taken again in a positive. There's a lot of buzz about the kind of excessive usage of chat gpt when it comes to coding. They are using because it can do the level 1 coding as well. It's so there's a lot of buzz about excessive usage of chat gpt, in the sense that students are not kind of doing their assignments and they are doing it from chat gpt. I think, I mean, why should they be reinventing the wheel if that part can be done in an automatic manner? And why human intervention is involved in doing that? students should start working on the level which is beyond the capabilities of ChatGPT as of now, at least. So there's a lot of things. The logic will not be there with chat gpt. So again, it can just do a basic code. So again, still there's a lot of scope when it comes to developing logic. But the general notion is that, okay, people feel that no, it's kind of cheating, which I feel is not the case. And in times to come, I think that will go away, because chat gpt is not going anywhere, or for that matter, AI is not going anywhere.
Yeah, even at we have the concept of like open book examinations, which is very good in terms of like understand like pushing students to learn more through the
Hmm,
questions which have been asked. So that concept has been there. I think it's the replication of that concept with technology, and we should embrace it with positiveness.
true.
All right. So, how can AI-driven feedback mechanism assist educators in providing more effective support to students who are falling behind or struggling?
Well, as I said, lots of systems are being used, which we have been using as well. Say, for example, um, predictive analytics we can do, when it comes to classroom based. The one I was talking about, Gradescope as well. So it kind of gives me a complete. It not just kind of checks the assignments, but it gives me a kind of complete picture of the students performing, specifically where that student is kind of lacking. We have certain agencies associated with us as well, which are doing the same thing on a very big scale for uh, assessments of higher education, companies like CoCubes and AMCATs, which are doing assessments. So they are doing exactly the same. What they do, they do take the assessments for the students, but in a very at a very initial stage of their courses. Say, for example, when they venture out into their first year, we conduct AMCAT assessments for them, and just in the first year itself, we get a kind of complete data analytical picture of the what do you call, the best points about that student, where he is good at, and how to go about. So we are kind of we present the entire data to our training team. So that's a very good ready reckoner for the training team as to how to kind of go about teaching that particular student. So as we say, not everything can be the same for every student. So we need to have different learning paths for different students, and that data analytics which we get from these AI based indicators. So that gives the training team a very good way in which they can curate a specific learning path for almost each student. They need not to be generic in nature, but they can carve out a very very specific path for each student, which is very very important. Real time feedbacks we can have. The student is performing in excellently in kind of everything, but for particular, not just for the coding part, but a particular problem statement in a particular coding assignment, he is kind of consistently failing. So we know this is the loophole. He is not bad at coding, he is not bad at logic, he is not bad at everything, but this is something which needs to work on. Maybe we can kind of enhance that. And one more thing which is there, which is not directly related to this, but still I feel there was one project which one of my student made, and I really enjoyed that project. There was a BTech project, I think, that was made almost 2 3 years back. So that was on emotion analysis. That also I feel that was very very good, in the sense it kind of, he used the Twitter messages for almost the software was like this. The project was this. It used to kind of scan Twitter messages and used to analyze them for emotions and sentiments. So based on that, it can kind of give predictions that the maybe the student is kind of feeling low. We tried implementing that in our community network as well. Other than the regular assessments, we have a counseling team as well, so they were making use of that. That they were kind of monitoring the community network messages as which student is kind of feeling a little low. He's kind of not able to cope up with the study, is not able to kind of cope up with the pace. So even counseling can also be AI driven. We know who to counsel. That's a very difficult part when it comes to counseling. You don't know who's getting depressed. It might not be visible on his or her face, but the kind of posts he is putting, the kind of Facebook posts he's kind of giving. So we did make use of that as well. It's not in use as of now, but yes, that was one very good usage I saw of AI.
I think that's a fantastic example of how technology can be leveraged to understand more about the actual problems. And there's one more area which I like to add to this is that from the other side, on the flip side, when you're thinking from a student perspective, so not everyone is very communicative. There are
Yeah,
different type of people, and we all, not only students, like we in personalities, we in like offices, we are all
as
very different.
humans.
And yeah, how we perceive is very different. How much we communicate is very
Mhm.
different. So there are students definitely who are shy. There are students who are like very responsive. So it will be very useful from their endpoints as well, because some people might be in that mindset, or might it might be good for them to reflect in that way, that they get to understand from A what they're doing, and then they reflect back, because there are different type of people who are learners. People who like to learn straight in the classrooms, people who like to sit back and read through and then get back to the classrooms, people who don't like to get, take much in the classroom but then reflect back. So, and we can't
Exactly.
control that because it's all human, and it's all mindset. So it, on the other side as well, it can be used, because then people can also, students can also understand, okay, I am not good at this particular area. Maybe I should be reaching out to this particular professor or this particular,
Exactly.
and then they can, because then if you are not performing well and you're not knowing where you're failing, then that's the problem. But if you're knowing, at least you have a problem identified, and then you can start approaching people in that way. So that might
Yeah,
be a
that does make the task of the team also a lot easier. They are not kind of vaguely working on generic things. I mean, counseling almost the entire batch of students, that is not going to work. This is what they've been doing traditionally. That kind of giving counseling and motivational classes to almost the entire batch of students. A 10% of students might be needing that. The rest of the students are kind of sleeping in the class. So that is what used to happen. So now they are kind of doing it on a case to case basis as to uh, whosoever needs that therapy, and that is the best part about it. Even we are kind of trying to make use of, we haven't been able to, but still we are kind of trying to make use of AI based interview, because AI based interviews are very much prevalent now when it comes to campus interviews as well. So most of the companies are kind of switching to AI based interviews. So that is something which we are training students on, as well as to how to kind of appear, because even the student needs to feel relaxed when they're facing a machine-based interview. So that is what we are trying to work on. We are trying to even kind of take AI-based interviews for our recruitments as well, but it's again still at a very developing stage. But yes, we are kind of trying to make
That's
use of
very interesting area. We have done one project with one of the commercial companies,
it. Hmm.
wherein we have, no, it was not related to education sector, different sector, healthcare sector, but they were interested in training the whole bunch of MRs through for their new product release. And there's
Hmm.
extensive concepts regarding the product and technicality, infrastructure, everything, security concepts, etc. So and the team was large, about 20,000 people to be trained. So and it's a lot of cost effort involved for the whole team. So we did a project wherein we trained in on all the concepts of the product, and then there's a evaluation system we developed, and that was developed alongside the training modules with the identification of people's name, etc. And based on that, each module, Trina was able to realize how much was the like how much people have understood based on the question sets which were decided previously, and then accordingly the reports were sent to the managers. So about 75% people passed the test, and
Hmm.
say rest they're trying to focus on the rest 25%. So that was massive effort reduction in terms of training. So yeah, definitely this is a very interesting area.
True.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to hear all these inventions, and of course, personalized guidance and support to students, which is provided by this AI-powered tutoring system, is a great invention. All right, moving with last question of today's session. That what are some common misconceptions about AI in education, and how does these myths impact its adoption and effectiveness?
Okay, I think he's
Lot of
already answered some of those myths, wherein like the myth is about like AI will eat jobs. So that is the most important myth which I think. And apart
Not
from that, like the other myths, definitely in terms of like
AI
AI.
is AI here to replace everybody.
Yes, yes,
That is
that's
the
the
biggest
largest one.
myth, which is
It's a
And
big
which
that
is
debate.
that
going
point
on.
which you quoted, Dr. Mohammed, like it's a like household thing now. Like we can see that AI is a household, like a very common term which we can hear everyone easily using that. So that was good.
Mm.
Mm.
That's a big myth which is prevalent going on. I mean, recently, even because I mean, it's not. I shouldn't be saying that it's completely false as well. I mean, students should also be prepared for automation.
Mm.
Automation is kind of replacing certain jobs. Right? That is a fact, and that should be understood by students as well. Because there was one software, even Copilot, which is now very prevalent in use. So it is able to do kind of, even Chat GPT is able to do level 1 coding. So they should be aware that this much can be automated. So it is going to replace, but it's going to replace at a very primary level. There will always be a human above the machine. So that needs to be kind of imbibed into the mindset of students. But
Mm.
yes, they should be aware. They should not feel relaxed. They should not be laid back in their approach that no, no, nothing is going to happen. Yes, automation will change a lot of things. So that is there. So that is, I still feel it is a myth that AI will kind of replace everything. That is not going to be there. But maybe somebody who doesn't know AI will be replaced. That is one thing.
Yeah, we as a
So
society we keep on evolutionizing, and we've seen the eras where we've got into computers, emails, and then big data
exactly,
and systems came in. Yeah, we have all survived through that. So we have
yeah,
upskilled, and that's human nature to upskill. We have if you start from the where we started in the
mm,
primitive ages,
exactly.
we have upskilled a lot, and everyone has upskilled. So there's a regular process of growing, and this is a part of it. We have to understand that and embrace the change with positivity, and then move it.
Fear factor is always there. This is exactly what you were saying about data analytics as well. The fear factor is there,
Yeah, indeed.
that your phone is listening to you, and everything
Yeah.
is being tracked and things like that. So be it, this is the age of technology. This is what we have to kind of live through, but to make better use of it, that is going to be the norm.
All right. So with this, we come to an end of today's lovely session. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for attending today's session. It was nice to have you here, and thank you for taking out time, both of you, for today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Ash, and thank you for having me here. It was a lovely interaction, very insightful interaction, and look forward to future interactions as well. Thank you to
Definitely.
all the audiences who have joined us for this session as well.
Yeah. It was a pleasure hosting you, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.